This is Fox 9 Good Day.
Well, welcome back. It's a hobby that involves the beauty of nature.
Yeah, bird watching really surged in popularity during the pandemic as people were looking for things to do outdoors, and that popularity continues today. One local bird lover is sharing her passion with young people in a pair of books. So the first is called Little Birdie Buddies of Minnesota. You see it right there. And there's also a Little Birdie Buddies of Wisconsin. Both feature facts and beautiful photos, dozens of common birds in both states and drawings of those birds. Joining us is the woman behind both books, Heather Boschke from BuddhaBirdie.com. I like that. Hello, Heather. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, okay, so I think what's also just fascinating how you got into this. You're not an author or an artist by trade.
No.
How did this come to be?
Yes, it all started with the drawings. So, talked about the pandemic. After COVID lockdown, I very much felt this tug in my heart to draw again. And it's not something I had done since I was in middle school, but I loved it.
Wow.
I used to run to my room with my colored pencils, and it's how I played and found flow. And so I got away from it as I got older. And so in January of 2021, I bought a sketchbook and pens, and the first thing that I drew was this little bird. And that process of a blank piece of paper, and then hours later, I met a little birdie buddy. I just wanted more of that. And birds have been a part of my life since I was little. We had parakeets growing up and a cockatiel named Birdie.
Oh, cute.
And my grandpa gave me the nickname of Heather Feather. So birds have been part of my life for a long time.
There's a picture too.
Yeah, they're little me.
I love it.
With Birdie.
So when it comes to bird watching, how did those two come together to create this book?
Yes, so as I was drawing, I was looking at photos online to get the proportions right and the angles, and then I just started to read more about birds, and then I got more interested in who's visiting our feeder outside. And then I started to go on walks and look for birds, and that's when the birding started. And as I learned more about birds, I thought, what about combining my playful illustrations with these new things I'm learning about Little Birdie Buddies to create a book for children?
Right, because there's a lot out there for adults, really geared towards, you know, kind of specific birds and finding them. But for kids, that's kind of hard. The attention span isn't always there. But they're so interested in them.
Yes.
And get them outside.
Yes, and what's fun about the book is you've got the bird call. So the Ellie, the eastern bluebird, says, "Chirlee, chirlee." So the kids like to get into that and also do the bird calls with the adults. And what's interesting is I get such feedback from my friends that are parents and other adults saying, you know what, I know this was for my kid, but I am learning so much about birds too. And so I think there's something about the illustration that sort of calls to the inner child in each of us.
I like this idea too, as opposed to Googling. I did last year, black bird with red and yellow stripe on wing. And now it's like, oh, let's find this bird that we see outside of our window.
Yes.
You actually draw these. The process, you said it took you a few hours when you first started.
Yeah.
You getting quicker now?
No, absolutely not. It still takes, every bird does take between 2 and 4 hours.
Wow.
And I always start with pen, and I always, for some reason, I start with the beak. The beak is kind of my anchor point for proportions, and then I kind of do the outline in pen, and then I finish coloring it with markers.
Are these birds that you've seen out in the wild, and then you kind of start to do some research and then circle back, or is it how do you select a given bird?
Yes, sometimes some of it is I've gone birding and I saw a grackle and I thought, okay, I need to draw a grackle. So that's Gus the grackle being drawn right now. Other times people have said, oh my gosh, my favorite bird is a quetzal. Can you draw one of those? And so people come up to me and ask if I can draw certain birds, and I love that. Or if I'm working on a book. So right now I'm working on Little Birdie Babies. And so the words are done, but I have to do all of the drawings. And so that sort of dictates what I'm doing next. So this weekend I have to draw a baby swan and a baby robin.
Oh, that's your weekend plan.
That's my weekend plan.
That sounds really charming. I'm going to be honest with you. With kids, and they pick up this book, obviously they learn a little bit about the birds that are in the area, but what else do you want them to take away from it?
Yes, yeah, the biggest thing is let's get them away from screens and get them out in the wild, finding Ellie the eastern bluebird. But there's also this message of self-acceptance, because there's 10,000 different species of birds, all the colors, all the shapes and sizes, and what makes them different is what makes them so special, just like us. So there is a message about embracing your inner beauty, and all those things that make you different, that's your awesome.
Sure. So you've got the Minnesota book, you have the Wisconsin book,
Yes.
you're working on the babies. So this is not just a local thing. You're trying to branch out a little bit.
Yeah, I want to see how far can these birdies fly. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. And baby birds, and I want to do a raptor book and a duck book. So, and with so many different birds, that they'll keep me busy.
So then I have to ask, what is your bird feeder bird situation at your house?
Oh yes,
like
we've
what's your
got
yard like?
5 or 6 different bird feeders.
Okay.
And so we've got one specifically for the hummingbirds. We've got the suet cakes. We've got the safflower feeder. So yeah, a lot of bird feeders. Yeah.
I would expect that.
Do you have a favorite bird?
I do. I've got different types of favorite birds. So I've got a favorite backyard bird, which is a goldfinch. I've got a favorite bird I like to see out in the wild, which is a blue heron. And the favorite bird that I've drawn is Clarence the cardinal.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I bet we have one of those out here.
Yes.
Oh, is this Clarence?
Yep. He's a nice plump one. So everyone loves a chubby bird. And
Totally.
Clarence,
What is that? I would totally agree. You're
It's like the chubby baby.
Yes.
it just makes you smile. And there's that saying about cardinals, when a cardinal is near, that means an angel is near.
Ooh, I like
and
that.
so there's something about cardinals that just really speaks and connects to people.
Yeah, I love that. Heather, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank
bringing
you.
in all the work too. We really appreciate it.
Her books are available if you want to learn more about them. It's Little Birdie Buddies of Minnesota and Little Birdie Buddies of Wisconsin. They are on Amazon, or you can also go to Heather's website, which is buddhabirdie.com.